Welcome to the Soulish Podcast. My name is Whitney Apke and I'm your host. Today we are talking about the power of self-compassion. And this episode really comes off of another episode that I did just a couple weeks back about tapping into your intuition and trusting your inner wisdom for guidance. And you guys were just like hitting me up on that self-compassion. So I thought, you know what? This is really important for us to talk about. And I'm really excited to dive into self-compassion, what that looks like, what that's looked like for me, which I've had like a real journey of cultivating love and acceptance within. And these are 3 steps that I've used to do that. So let's dive in. Step 1 that I've like really taken into like my everyday life is practicing self-awareness and mindfulness. And I think self-compassion is something that it's not selfish, it's not self-centered. It's simply understanding that we are fallible. We are, we're going to mess up. We're not going to always get it right. There's going to be things that are ebbing and flowing, and there's going to be massive challenges. You're going to have to walk through things that are really rough sometimes. And to have self-compassion and realize, like, I'm not always going to get it right. And I'm going to navigate this to the best of my ability. But that doesn't always mean that I make the most, self-actualized, integrated, embodied decision for myself. Sometimes I'm going to make an ego decision. Sometimes I'm going to make a fear decision. Sometimes I'm going to make a decision based off of like my people pleasing, and that may not be super supportive for me, but it probably was for the other person. But I'm going to still have self-compassion over that, over myself for making that decision and people pleasing again. So I think it's really important to have self-awareness on why am I doing what I'm doing? Like, I'm always asking the why question. Why am I feeling this way? Why am I thinking this thought? What is the root? What is the little bottom depth saying about this? Like, what is causing me to want to make this decision right now? And why am I leaning this way versus the other? Because that will kind of, as I wrestle with that, that will kind of tell me, like, what are the little bottom depths? From whence does this come? What is this actually connected to at the root? And that really helps me to do that. And then mindfulness, like spending time each day reflecting on your thoughts, reflecting on your feelings, and kind of being able to sift those things out, that really helps you navigate and also keep track of like, I've been feeling this for a while. Like, I've been feeling this way for quite a while. It's hard to say that when you're just kind of like cruising, and you're not really acknowledging anything. I think acknowledging your emotions and your experiences as valid and understanding that like I've been feeling this for a track record for a long time, like in this relationship with this person or in this friendship with this person. I've been feeling this way for a long time. Like, how many years have I been in this relationship feeling this way? And so I need to make an informed decision based off of the fact that I've been feeling this way for a long time. So I need to have some conversations, right? I need to do some things, take some aligned action if needed, right? In order to come back into a place of resonance and alignment, because that's truly compassionate and loving for yourself and your journey, which is also sacred and just as important and as valid as anyone else's. So I think that's really important. The other one too is engaging in self-care and nurturing activities. And that looks different for everyone. For some people, it's a bath. Other people, it's nature walks. Other people, it's like just getting out and sitting at a coffee shop and just having a yummy latte. Like, that can just be like, oh, the best. For some people, it's the spa, man. For me, it's pretty much always been the spa. It's always been a good facial or a massage. I love it. I do it at least once a year for myself, if not more. And I think that's huge. I do kind of hit up my gym. It has like this water massage thing. And so it comes with my membership. So I do that like almost every time that I go to the gym because it's like my little treat of like, look. And also, I'm not a morning person. And so when I go, I'm like not fully awake yet. And I'm kind of like grumpy that I'm like there. And so that really helps me because I'll like start with a massage. And that's like, then I also don't feel so bad because I'm not so sweaty like using it. But I like start off with a massage and then you just go into your workout so much happier. So that's something that I do. It's like something that I love, something that helps me, certainly sauna-ing and going to the gym and physical activity, that's nurturing for me. That's self-care. But also just as much like nature walks. Like today, with little Winston, we went on an hour nature walk and the birds were just like so beautiful and some deer like passed by us and it was just beautiful. I got to talk to them and we went by the river and we just stood by the river for a while and he was like sniffing all the sniffs and like just having the best time, frolicking around everywhere. And that was just so nourishing for me to like see him frolicking and so happy, and I'm so happy, and we're like smelling nature in the fresh morning, the little dewdrops on the grass that look like little diamonds all over the grass when the sun hits just perfect, it lights it up, just beautiful. Like it's just beautiful and green and luscious, and like that just nourishes my heart. Like that is self-care for me, but for everyone it may not be that way. So whatever it is for you, I think it's super important to learn that and then do it and start engaging in those self care, nurturing practices for self. It could be starting your day with solitude and quiet and maybe journaling a little bit or sitting out on your balcony or porch and just looking out if you have nature or whatever, just being present, having the morning air, morning sun on your face. Like sometimes that just starting the day off that way is so great. For some people, it's a cup of coffee, in the morning, and they go and they journal or they sit, they meditate. But that cup of coffee, man, that does everything for them. Just even smelling it is like the thing that they need. So for each person, it's different. But I think ultimately it's what is kind to yourself, what is loving to yourself. If it's a massage before the workout, do it. Whatever is kind and compassionate and loving and also like makes your heart happy is like really like the key to this. So the other one is also challenging negative self-talk. This is huge, and fostering positive affirmations. So I really think like identifying and challenging negative thoughts and beliefs about yourself, replacing them with like realistic positive affirmations, and that may just be like taking stock of yourself and writing a list of all the things that you love about yourself, all the things you admire about yourself, all the things you honor. Now, that may be two things, that may be three things. You may really be in the dumps and not really feeling yourself. If that's the case, if it's two things, three things, one thing that you can think of, use that as a tool to navigate and to push the barriers on what you feel limited by, and your beliefs, your limiting beliefs about yourself, that you're a nobody, that you're unworthy, you're not enough. Look, you always get dicked by life. I found myself saying that today and I was like, that is not an affirmation I want to affirm. So I'm going to change my lingo on that. That's a negative limiting belief that I have negative karma around this area of my life. I'm not going to affirm that. So I realized I was like, "Burp, burp, 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 burp. Let's rewind. Let's rewind that. Let's redo. But I was like, you know what? I'm resilient. You know what? I don't give up. I trust in a greater power. I trust in the universe and my ability to trust even when things are not going well or not going according to plan or expectation or hopes. I'm going to still trust that I'm being taken care of on the back end. I may not know or see what's going on or what's happening. I may have no evidence of this, but I do trust that I am being taken care of by the universe and that my needs are always met. And that when I step out in faith and trust, that I have that reciprocated back to me by the universe. But right now, it feels like I'm getting dicked by life, but that's okay. I have no evidence other than I'm getting dicked by life, but I'm just going to trust it. And so I hope that that's a little encouraging for you if you really feel down in the dumps. I would take stock, and if it's just one thing that you can pick that out and run with it, man, and apply it to like everything you can. If it's that you just never give up, then apply that everywhere in life. This may be not be going well, but I'm not going to give up. This may be just total like bottoming out, but I'm just not going to give up. Whatever it is, I think identifying and challenging those negative beliefs and understanding that sometimes we take ownership of things, like just because it's happened to you doesn't mean it is you. Does that make sense? Just because it's happened to you doesn't mean it is you. We don't need to always identify with everything. So I think taking overdue ownership of things is really important to make sure that you're not doing that. And that's how ultimately, with self compassion, you're not being so hard on yourself. You're not owning everything. You don't have to own everything. We watch movies or reality TV where someone, maybe in a partnership is being blamed for things and they're being talked down to by their partner. And what do you want to do when you watch that? You want to go like, shut the hell up. Like you like come for that person. Like, no, honey, don't listen to him. Like you're like yelling at the TV. But you have to understand spirit is doing that with you every time that you take undue misplaced ownership and guilt, or like blame for things that happen in life. Sometimes that's just life. And really, I think the things that don't go well or don't go according to plan are just redirections and opportunities for something better or something greater, or a challenge that causes you to rise up or gives you the opportunity to rise up in more faith and more trust, maybe more love, more self-compassion, even that it gives you the opportunity to practice that for yourself. And so I would say, instead of looking at the bottom line of like, what do I get out of this experience? Understand that the journey is meant to be just as good and nourishing and rewarding and filled with so many good things, as well as like the bottom line. And the bottom line is great. Like the big manifestation is great, but all the ups and downs and all the little manifestations, the bridge manifestations, as To Be Magnetic likes to call them, those little bridge manifestations, man, they're so amazing. And they can be just as nourishing and help you along the path to realize like, I am worthy of this. I have everything I need already within me. I don't need anything outside of myself in order to be happy, fulfilled, enough, worthy, a worthy candidate for this job or this partner or this friendship, or to belong here in this community or this family, whatever it is. I just want to encourage you, like, having self-compassion is also understanding who you are, your worth, why you're in this experience, what your soul chose, right? Like, the only ownership I'll ever take, really, the most, without like seeing it, or even knowing it for certain, is that I chose this life. I chose this life. Now, I may not have chosen every single experience, but I think that the majority of the narrative and the setup here was totally by design. And it wasn't by design to kill me slowly. It was by design so that I could evolve, so that I could be of service, so that I could also like be of service to myself as well as the world around me in the greatest, best way ever. Like, this life was meant to be lived, experienced, and enjoyed, and all of that. And ups and downs help us enjoy life, believe it or not. Because if you just were winning all the time, it'd get really boring. I think there's a reason why every movie pretty much has like a hero's journey, because we are all about the journey. We're all about the elevation. We're all about the empowerment. We're all about the evolution and the growth around and the learning around the story and the journey. So, same things apply here. And having a regular practice of taking stock of your thoughts and challenging them if they're negative or if they're unsupportive or they just don't feel in alignment for you. It may not even be that they're right or wrong, it just be that it doesn't resonate anymore. It doesn't really support you anymore. And you may not have an answer why, but you just feel it in your gut. Well, then what is, Challenge that, look at that, and then reevaluate and see what does feel in alignment for me, what is supportive, what feels most compassionate and most loving for my journey and where I'm at right now. How can I support myself? How can I love myself? How can I give myself some compassion, some room and space to frolic and flail at the same time, because that's what life is all about, is the frolic and the flail. I love that. I'm going to use that later. So I hope that this was encouraging to you, no matter where you are in your journey. If you're really in the dumps, man, this episode is for you. Like, really understanding that you need to give yourself room and space to, I love it, to frolic and flail is like really important and a part of your journey. And why you feel so bogged down is maybe for this exact purpose, is for you to give yourself some love, to love yourself like the universe loves you. And if you don't know how the universe loves you or how anyone loves you, and you feel like you've never experienced that in your life, then the answer is you have everything inside of you. You don't need anyone or anything else outside of you to know what love is and to feel love, because you can love yourself. You have everything in you to love yourself. You don't need it expressed by anyone else. So hopefully this is encouraging. I love you guys so much. Please comment, DM, subscribe, share, like. I would so appreciate hearing more of what you guys think about this and where this is hitting in you and your story. I would love to hear about it. Love you guys so much.